Hey everybody, Matthew Lee here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to another behind the scenes of the making of the Ork Deffwatch models and a bit of the backstory as well. All in preparation of the upcoming Deffwatch narrative campaign, which is coming out to the vault later in September as part of our 10th year anniversary special. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm sorry if you've had questions in these past videos because we've made all these videos together. If you can't tell by the shirts and clothes we're wearing, we don't just wear the same pair of clothes.
I will officially give people permission to send me an email, Lee@MiniWarGaming. If you have any questions about these guys.
Lee@MiniWarGaming.com.
Yeah.
So if you've been patient and watching right through these, now you have his email address. You can ask some questions about that. But we'll try to actually watch the questions on the YouTube.
I will read them, but I probably won't answer like right away because I'm super busy.
Yeah.
But I do read them.
Don't slow them down too much. He's got a lot of work to do. But today we're going to be talking about our Painboy and our Weirdboy. We're doing these together because they actually have the same body. And they are once again on opposite teams. The Painboy is going to be on the Brutal team because the Brutal team needs a resident doctor ready to go.
Yeah, because they like it up close and personal.
Yes, they do. And the Weirdboy on the cunning side because they tend to be on that side, the brainier side. But not that there's a hard and fast rule if that's the case.
We play and call it work.
So the Painboy, his name is Doc Erdy Shacknob, and I want to really put an emphasis on the Doc part. And you'll see in just a second.
I remember that one.
If you ever have the pleasure of meeting Erdy and wish to live longer than a minute or so, make sure you always address him as Doc Shacknob, and not just Shacknob or Erdy. He has worked very hard to become a Painboy and demands the respect of being one. The fact of the matter, he didn't actually work very hard.
No, he's born one.
Facetompa engineered him to be a really good Painboy. And Facetompa enhanced and unlocked the Painboy gene in him to allow him to understand better than most Painboys the physiology of the Ork body, which is really important because the Deffwatch physiology is even more complex, and he's got to be ready to help out. So there's more than one Painboy that's been created for the Deffwatch, but this is the one that's been created to be battle ready. So as you're going to see from some of the stuff that he has. It has been many a time that another member of the Deffwatch has casually come to Doc Shacknob with one of their limbs in hand, or sack, and within minutes they feel as good as new. The rest of the Deffwatch have come to trust in Doc Shacknob's abilities so well that they don't even worry when pieces of themselves are forcibly removed by the enemy's weaponry. You're going to see him mid-battle. Somebody gets a chunk blown off of them, and they just rush forward anyways, while he runs behind them, pushing the chunk back on him and stapling it back in place. And it works. He's really good at it. He just knows where. He has a bunch of spare bits as well, and he's got a lot of needles. We'll see, and he's got a really special syringe gun, which I think is hilarious, which we'll talk about when we get to the actual model. Because the syringe gun actually allows him to heal from a distance, because he's like, but it also has enhancement drugs. It's a crazy needle, and it has a hallucination needle, and then also has poison ones that he can fire at the enemy as well, so he's good offensively as well. The other guy, our Weirdboy, actually he's a very weird boy. He's not just a weird boy, he's a very weird boy.
Weird?
Yeah. He's Morgog, Head Papa, Sneggarod. That's right. Thank you, Ork name generator.
Yeah.
Unlike his ignorant predecessors, Facetompa knew that the key to building a powerful Ork culture was in perfecting the Ork Weirdboy gene, allowing for even more powerful abilities to tap into the warp and harness the Ork's true potential. If you're not familiar with this, the Orks have what's called like the green energy or the green Wa, which is their Gestalt consciousness that mixes together. And I'm not just making this up. Well, it's all fictitious, of course, but it's based off of real 40K lore. And if you actually want to learn a lot about the Orks, I'd suggest the whole series and the Beast Arises. And not all the books are super awesome, but it's a really good story.
A good window into their
more about their culture, more what can happen, because it's a really big Ork log. Essentially, the genes in the Orks only unlock as the Wa gets bigger or their armies get bigger. I think it's a fail-safe put in there by the old ones or whoever created them. And as their stuff works. Like you look at how hodgepodge their stuff is, and yet it works. And the reason it works is because the more Orks get together, the more this psychic aura starts to happen, this green energy, this green Wa. And that actually makes the things work. In The Beast Arises, some of the AdMech people note how this gun that they're looking at doesn't appear that
you can read about that in other stories too.
Yeah.
They just take an Ork shooter and open it, and it's like,
how does this shoot?
There's a bunch of rocks in here.
Yeah, how does this shoot? But it's because they believe it'll shoot.
Yep.
That it actually shoots, which it sounds silly at first, but it's actually pretty clever. I'd have to, hats off to the floor for the Games Workshop for this one, because it makes Orks different. Like you have like your Narnia Orks or your orcs from Tolkien.
Yeah.
And they're just, brutes that are built. But these guys are more than brutes. There's a lot more to them. And so that's what FaceTime has been trying to unlock, of course. But he realizes that this psychic part of it is a huge part of it, and so he needs the weird boys to be powerful because they're the linchpins. They actually end up being the linchpins of the orc wogs, even though they're not the leaders usually. Morgog is feared by all orcs outside of the Deffwatch, mainly because every time he merely thinks too hard, nearby lesser orcs' heads tend to explode. He's like, achoo, boom!
Where'd I put my keys?
Boom. Yeah, every time that happens. The Deffwatch, they're more resilient to it. In fact, a typical orc weird boy has a rule that for every 10 orcs nearby, he gets +1 to his attempt to cast psychic powers. But the Deffwatch, each Deffwatch counts as 10 orcs. And so he really is able to tap into them because they have this really powerful aura around them that FaceTime has built into them.
Super orky.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're so orky that they're like 10 orcs worth of aura. Morgog was engineered to be able to build the brain muscle that would allow him. In fact, it's so muscly that he exposes it because it keeps growing, and so the skull just it was just in the way. So he had
the bone out and just the skin covered.
Yeah, he had Doc Shacknob remove the upper skull portion because it was just a pain. It really wasn't necessary.
So gross.
Yeah. So he was engineered so that he could build that brain muscle. So he could actually, because FaceStompa does not know all the potentials. He's not like this. He doesn't know everything. So he wants to experiment. And so one of the ways he can experiment is by having this weird boy practice psychic stuff. And as he practices it, he learns what else they could do with their green energy. Over time, he has unlocked new abilities that have made him an asset to the Orc Deffwatch. And he has many abilities yet to discover. So this is in-game shown by we have a new Orc discipline, which takes a lot of the old Orc discipline and soups them up. Like instead of the jump, there's the super jump. And that kind of thing. Instead of the Ed Popper, it's like
everything's dialed up to 11?
Yeah, well, essentially, it makes things powerful, but there's always a second ability that unlocks if he rolls 10 or higher when he's doing his roll.
Okay.
So one of them, for example, the super jump lets you take a unit and move them and be 9 inches away. You choose somebody within 12 inches, and they can place them anywhere on the board 9 inches away from the enemy. But if he rolls 10 plus, the range becomes 24 inches, and he can place them anywhere 3 inches away. So he can more pinpoint where they can go. So imagine picking up like a knob or the Death Shred and being 3 inches away from an enemy. And so he can things like that.
Yep.
He has some pretty powerful ones. And his skill tree, because all of them have skill trees that they unlock, his involve being able to do more psychic powers, learn new psychic powers, and do them even better. So whereas the Painboy's skill tree is more about more efficiently using his syringe gun, healing better, all that kind of stuff. You have more buffs to people around them. So that's our two guys, our Painboy and our Weird Boy. So let's talk about the models. Let's start with the Painboy. So I'm going to push this guy aside a little bit. So these, you know what, actually, let's put them side by side because the bodies are the same thing. What is the body of these guys? Because it's not the Ogren.
The legs are from Ogrins.
So the legs are Ogrins?
The legs are Ogrins because I like the boots and the pants. They're kind of worky and cool. But I wanted them to be, because they're not as combat-y, I wanted them to be more muscular but not as big.
Yeah, a little more spindly.
Yeah. So they're more like Bruce Lee than Arnold Schwarzenegger type thing?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So I basically took one of these guys.
What is this guy?
That is a Crypt Horror
Zargeist?
Zargeist, I think it is.
From the Vampire Counts?
Yeah.
For Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar?
Because they have really nice muscles on the torso.
Right there. There we go. There we go. There's our shot.
Yeah.
Was that an 8-pack? Yeah,
12-pack.
That's like a 12-pack. These guys work out.
I got abs for days.
My abs have abs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some pretty strong definition there. Yeah, because you wanted it more spindly because like a Weird Boy is not necessarily going to be buff.
No.
And a Painboy isn't either. Like they're going to be big, obviously, but not like Mega Knob big or Commando big. The Commando kind of looks more like a larger guy just walking around carrying all that stuff.
Yeah, they have more like workman muscles than like bodybuilder muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, so that's the body then. What about the arms? Are those his arms?
Those are actually the arms from the same kit.
So they're the Zargeist arms as well, which is why they're longer fingers. You can kind of see the fingers there, which worked really well for the Painboy because you can see that kind of claws.
He's got talons.
Yeah, which we'll get to him later, but you can see that really pulled off kind of a weird, no pun intended, but a weird look for our Weird Boy.
Yep.
So let's continue. Our Painboy. How did you make everything for him? You
Elastic
remember?
bands.
Lots of elastic bands?
Yeah, because he has a belt and his harness for his syringes and everything. That's just
What are the syringes made out of?
Those are just plastic card tubes.
Plastic card tubes?
Yeah, with
And then toothpicks?
with plastic card tubes inside. I just cut them at an angle, get a syringe look, and just suck them inside and paint them up.
And so, and what about the gun? So this is the syringe gun.
The gun is actually custom built out of plastic card.
So you made that totally from scratch?
Yeah.
So you keep saying plastic card. I always picture plastic card as these sheets of plastic card.
You can get it in tubes and like
So that's
I-beams and L-beams and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, so these are tubes of plastic
Yeah.
card. I see. Because I'm like picturing you taking this sheets of plastic card and like bending
Rolling it
them.
up.
I'm like, how are you doing that? That's amazing. So you can actually buy plastic card. in
Maybe I
tubes.
shouldn't have corrected you then.
Well, that's the funny thing is, like, I've been in this hobby for a decade now, and I still don't know these things because I'm just not into the model aspect of it. Well, I think it's really cool, but I'm just not personally into doing it. So when you tell me these things, it's all very amazing to me. So these are tubes of plastic card, and
There's a little piece of plastic card I put on there. Take a look underneath. Yeah, this is old plastic card tubing, and
this tube right
that-
here is from the
that's from the Talus.
Talus.
The dark.
The paint engine?
Yeah, the paint engine for Dark Outlaw. A lot of his stuff is actually from that because it has a lot of syringes and spindly claws and stuff.
What about these arms?
So his servo harness is actually the Tech Marine servo harness for Space Marines,
Oh, okay.
and the arms are from that kit.
From this Tech Marine kit?
Yeah,
So going out to basically here?
yeah, and then that's the hand, one of the hands from the actual Painboy miniature.
Oh, that's actually a Painboy hand?
Yeah,
Also, they do have a bunch of little needles on
yeah.
their fingers.
They have like one mechanical hand that looks like that. It didn't change it at all, just glued it on.
And what about the other side?
And that's from the paint engine, because these are basically 4 bits, because each finger is a separate bit with the syringe, and then I added the canisters. And I did the same down here. That's one of the hands from it.
Nice. That is so cool. So essentially his syringe gun has a range, and he can shoot it automatically hitting friendlies within 6, but he can also shoot at enemies. And he can do things like healing them, he can buff their abilities, make them go faster or stronger, usually with negative effects as well. Or you can fire hallucination ones that hallucinate the enemy and make them act more poorly.
And there's one thing I did too with the paint job, because the Crypt Horrors actually have like bones and stuff sticking out of their flesh. If you look at the back of him, the servo harness is actually embedded into his back.
Oh, wow. Oh, Doc Ock, like octopus?
Yeah, yeah, Dr. Octopus.
Dr. Octopus. Is
Yeah.
it Dr. Octopus?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah, Doc Ock.
So the skin is actually growing back over the thing, so you might end up just having a big hunchback.
Yeah, whatever. As long as it makes his job better, right?
Yeah,
He's happy. Now, I noticed there's an apron and a bit of a doctor's mask there.
that's green stuff.
That's all green stuff?
All green stuff.
And elastic bands for the belt?
Yep.
What about the belt buckle?
The belt buckle is from Ogre Belly Plate.
Awesome. It's amazing what you can find when you have tons of bits lying around,
Yeah.
right?
And every time, like you were talking about, we don't throw all the bits anymore.
Right.
And every time someone else in the studio finishes like a personal project, I get the bits.
You take the bits.
Because you don't throw out bits. You just don't.
Not around here, you don't. That's for
Not
sure.
anymore.
So this one's actually lots of conversion to it.
Yeah.
Lots of different parts. So we've got
let us
Ogren, we've got Zargeist, we've got Tech Marine, we've got
Painboy,
Painboy, we've got
Pain-
Talus Paint Engine, and then we've got the Ogre belt buckle thing, and then you've got tons of plastic card and green stuff
Yeah.
to fill out the rest.
Yeah, the idea behind the gun, the way I modeled it open, because if you look at it, he's actually holding a syringe. And he loads it in, closes it, and it has a gas canister on the back to propel the...
So you actually have it make sense.
Yeah.
You didn't have to as an orc.
I know, but
It could literally have no gas canister and
it
still
could just
work.
be a tube.
Yeah, tube that he just points and it's like boom, boom. But it's cool that you actually thought about that. There's actually all that to it. So that's our Painboy, and let's bring over our weird boy, our very weird boy. Now this is probably my favorite because obviously aesthetically he stands out from the rest. You have the Commando that stands out a lot, and obviously the big guys stand out a lot.
Yep.
But this guy, for obvious reasons, the colors and just how weird he is, really stands out. So we've already gone over the body, ogre legs, Zargeist arms.
If you take a look, he actually has the exact same body as this one. Because that's supposed to be hair.
Oh, that's the Zargeist hair. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, got off camera there. So let's put these side by side.
The wings are in the way of it.
Sometimes we forget to look at the camera there, but you can
Yeah.
see the hair Now, that's not meant to be his hair, though. That's meant to be like psychic energy.
Yeah,
coming
it's
off
like
of him.
going down his spine.
Right.
But the reason I used that body is because it had that on it. I could paint it up to look like energy.
So that's psychic energy coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the skulls. What are those from?
The skulls are actually just trophy skulls from the Orks brews.
These?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the lightning are wood elf dryad branches
Yeah, I can see that now that you say that.
that I just painted blue to look like lightning.
Yeah. They're actually pretty sturdy. Like I'm afraid to show it because I'll probably be like on camera like crack.
It's really sturdy.
But they're pretty good. Like we have yet. Steve is the one carrying this one around. And he's yet to break it.
Yeah.
So obviously you want to take care with stuff like that because that will break. Like I could easily just go snap, but it's touch things and it doesn't just quickly snap.
Do you want me to do it?
No, because I'm afraid you'll break it. I don't want to break it because I really like it. What about the staff?
The staff and the head are actually from the Weirdboy kit.
So the Weirdboy already has his kind of brain exposed?
Yeah. It was like pulsing through his head type thing.
That's just a regular Weirdboy staff, no modifications?
No, it didn't change a thing.
Just painted it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it works. And then what about his robes?
The
Is
robes
that
are
what we'll call
from they're from the Age of Sigmar Orc Shaman.
That's right. I was like, I kind of
Because they actually had the sense to model the body and then the robes, and then you put the robes on the body. So I just repositioned them on
So you didn't
him.
have to worry about, because if they were part of the body, you wouldn't be able to use them at all.
They're actually separate pieces, so you can use them.
Well, the nice thing about that over the green stuff, you do a fantastic job with green stuff, but there's just so many nuances in the patterns, in the way it waves and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really hard to pull off when you sculpt it yourself. Like, obviously you can, because that's
Yeah,
what they did.
Yeah, you can do it, but if you don't have to, then you don't.
Save yourself the time. And you freehanded on all those icons.
Yeah. Because I did them yellow, and I was like, it's a bit boring. So, like, how would an orc, like, represent the warp? Spinny.
Yeah, these little...
Little spinnies.
And then we have his arrangement of trinkets at the back. Now there's some different
Those are
things in
all
here.
religious icons from different races in 40k.
So like what? Give some examples.
So if we have skulls for orcs. Then we have the censer bearer from one of the Mechanicums. And
More skulls.
More skulls. We have a piece of Eldar Wraithbone, an orc skull. Rosarius, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The chaplain one?
Yeah.
And then we have like devotional scrolls from Space Marine.
Oh yes, I can see those.
And if you look under there's actually an Aquila under there.
Oh geez, so he's collected all these relics.
Yeah. And then on the end of it, they have
is he really a religious fanatic underneath?
No, he just notices, the way I see it is these icons are the focus for psychic energy.
And he uses them for
So
that.
he just made a belt out of them to be the focus. Doesn't realize you have to actually believe in the thing.
Well, it works for him though.
It works for him.
because he believes
Yeah.
that it works, and so.
Well, that was my excuse.
That's great. That
So-
gives him a bit more character and some
Yeah.
backstory just on the model itself. That I didn't even write into him. Like until this moment, I didn't even know that's how you decided to do it. So there are our two Zargeist conversions.
Yeah.
The Painboy and the Weirdboy.
The ogre geist.
The Ogregeist. The Ogregeist boys.
Yeah.
The Ogregeist boys. The Pain and the Weirdboy. And so I hope that you enjoyed that. Of course, stay tuned for the Deffwatch narrative campaign, which will be coming out later in September. All the links in the video description below to how to follow us to keep up to date on that, as well as the rules for these two guys, so you can see exactly how they're going to work in game. And so you can use them in your own games. You can just kind of convert up your own model, or just have a counts as model and have some fun with them, because I think they would be fun in the larger game as well. Just with the way I wrote the rules, but not balanced. Don't be confused with balance and
Don't try
fun.
taking them into a tournament.
Yeah, don't take them to the tournament. Although the funny thing is, because of the way I did the dash sheets, they kind of look official, almost.
Yeah.
So if you really printed one off, be like, yeah, here it is. I got it off the
You should
Games
put
Workshop
like a
website.
gray MiniWarGaming logo on top of it.
Yeah, just so people know.
Yeah.
Say, no, that's not official Games Workshop stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more of the behind the scenes and the making of the Orc Deffwatch campaign. Thanks for watching, and happy wargaming.
Oh my. Boogity boo! Ah! What's wrong?
I don't know.
Oh no.